Whatever you submit yourself to outside of God, you become a slave to. And when the enemy has you enslaved, he has you sacrificed into altars, and that's why you're never satisfied. Instead of being submitted to God, you submit to everything that Satan throws at you, and you don't even understand that you're a slave. You submitted to the money, so you constantly chasing a bag, and no money is ever enough. You're submitted to sex, so you constantly chasing body after body after body, because that is the only place that you find your satisfaction in. Even though you're never fully satisfied, you just satisfied for that moment. You submitted to yourself, so you prideful and you arrogant, and you walking around like you know everything and like you can do everything when you really ain't the big bad wolf that you think you are. And if you really read the word of God, you understand that God encourages rest. Whatever you submit yourself to, you look like. That's why people that are rested and fully submitted to God, they got glowing skin. Their smiles are always big. Even if they got situations that they going through and they might be fighting demons, they still got smiles on their faces. They still happy. They still got joy in their heart. And everybody else is lustful, tired, sad, depressed, suicidal. Because you have become a slave to what the enemy has sent you and you're not submitted to the right source. When you submitted to God, he gives you peace. When you're submitted to God, he gives you rest. When you're submitted to God, he gives you hope. When you're submitted to God, he gives you joy. When you're submitted to money, all you get is money. You never satisfied with that money. Why? Because money come and go. Because you might not make as much money as you want to make. You might be an entrepreneur, but if it ain't stamped by God, that money ain't doing nothing for you. When you're sacrificing to the altars of the enemy, these altars are never going to be satisfied. So you have to make consistent sacrifices to them. You might be calling yourself a nympho, but understand that you are submitted to lust. And because the enemy is so slick with it, he's allowed you to confuse hustle culture with spiritual slavery. This is why drug addicts keep going back to the drug, because it is a sacrifice to these altars. It is that dopamine hit. Then you are never satisfied, so you have to keep going back and hitting it and hitting it and hitting it and hitting it. But when you are submitted to God, you can do what he tells you to do. You can be consistent and persistent in what he tells you to do, but he's also going to encourage rest. He's also going to make sure that you're not tiring yourself out. Even on the seventh day, he rested. So why would he not encourage rest? And this is how the enemy keeps you in cycles. He keeps you tired. He keeps you worn out because he don't want you to rest. If you rest, you might find out that you got a little bit of authority. If you rest, you might find out that you have a God that loves you. If you rest, you might find out that you have peace in the arms of Christ. So the enemy keeps you on this hamster wheel because even though you think that you are consuming these things, actually it's the enemy consuming you. Find out what you're submitted to, and if it's anything other than Christ, make some changes.